All right, we're back and we're live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. As you are logging on, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits, and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. If you are logging on Instagram, we are also live on YouTube and Facebook. And on YouTube and Facebook, we will be screen sharing photos. So you can't see the photos if you're over on Instagram. What's up, Aurelia? But you can see the photos if you are over on YouTube or Facebook. You can also see the comments come up on the display on those two. So the user experience is definitely better when you're on either YouTube or Facebook. You can listen on Instagram, but all you see on Instagram is my face. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. What's up, Jared? What's up, Amanda? Yolanda? What's up? Everybody, welcome. Say hello when you get on. Well, as always, we give it a few minutes for people to get logged on and get comfortable, and then we'll do some screen sharing. My first question is, did anybody watch the live stream for this show? I did not. I was busy with clients. I'll be the first one to admit that. However, they did have like an off-screen, off-stage angle on Instagram, so I did watch that. So I was able to see some of it from that. And I saw some, lots of video clips go up and things like that too. So I was pretty... I was able to see the video pretty well. So, yeah, cheer nationals. Didn't your daughter win or something? What did I see on Facebook? What did I see on the cheer nationals? I saw something on the Facebook. I sound old. I see on the Facebook. On the Facebook. God. Just aged myself right there. Welcome, you guys. What's up, guys? And I'm staring at myself right now because I just touched up my my hair. Oh, thank you. I just did my nails today too, but I touched up my hair as well, and it's so dark. I'm like, oh my gosh, I look so like my hair is black. Oh, Japan. Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. I'm like, damn. As soon as I turned on my camera today, I was like, I didn't realize how dark my hair was. It's just because I literally touched up the roots this afternoon. So, oh, cool. Very cool, Raven. But yeah, remind me, because when we do our Thursday live this week, I want to talk a little bit about some skin stuff, because I've been doing some different stuff for my skin. It has made a huge difference. And I think if you guys have been here on live, you probably have been able to, you might be able to see it, might be able to notice it. I know people have told me they notice it. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit when we do our prep update and everything on Thursday. So remind me that we're going to go into that a little, because your girl is in her 40s now. And it's all about keeping that maintenance and that youthful glow. So I figured out a few things, and it's been going real well. So with that, we're going to go into wrapping up Girl Power tonight. So again, if you are logging on Instagram, you can watch on Instagram, not a problem, but it's just my face you're going to see. If you're over on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page, you will see screen sharing, so you will see photos. So if you click the link in my bio on Instagram, there is a link that will take you to YouTube, so you can watch there, okay? So let's talk about this show. One of the things, and I've mentioned this a few times this year, is we're now in that position where you have to win a show in order to go to the Olympia. It's no longer just about qualifying on points. There are no points. So it doesn't matter. If you don't place first, you're not qualified. You don't get anything, right? So you have to win a show. So what I find is happening from what I've been seeing is when these competitors are coming in, they're coming in on point, like at 100%. There is no room for error, because you can't just kind of hope that you can skate by and qualify on points this year. You can't do it. You have to come in at 100%. So what I'm seeing is, personally, I'm seeing a lot of these girls coming out with the best looks I've ever seen on them. Some of these girls have been taking time off, coming back and just killing it, those kinds of things. So it's like next level, right? It's next level competition. Even though we only have like one big name in the show, which was Romina, who did win it, everybody else came to play, and Romina came to play. She knew, she's like, I got to win this show in order to get qualified again, right? As soon as Rihanna stepped on stage, I messaged a friend at the show and was like, does 483 look as amazing in person as she does in the feed? And then I called her and Romina for, yeah, yep, absolutely. So yeah, when it comes down to it, from all the footage that I saw, I really felt like this show was a 2-woman show. It was between Rihanna and between Romina. I mean, it was down to the 2 of them. And obviously during the comparison rounds, that's what they showed. They showed the 2 of them. So I did want to pull that up. I pulled up the comparisons so that you can see the final comparison round, because that is what it came down to. It came down to the 2 of them. And personally, when I saw the footage and everything like that, I felt like Rihanna was winning from the front and Romina was winning from the back. So I see here, like when you look at this back, this is Rihanna over here in the red and Romina in the blue. They look very, very good. Both of them do. This is the best I've ever seen Rihanna look, period. The reason that I have Romina winning from the back is she just has that 3D pop that's really, really hard to beat. Now, Rihanna has it too. On her frame, it looks great. It's just that Romina has it a little bit better. She has a little bit longer of those hamstring drops than Rihanna does. So the overall shape is just a little bit better. And, also Romina's been doing this forever and Rihanna's only been doing it for a couple of years, right? So you see that density, you see that maturity in Romina that you don't see in Rihanna. So it's very, very slight here, but you can see that Romina just has a little bit more volume. Romina just has a little bit more volume from the back, right? So from the back, I have Romina winning this, with Rihanna being very, very close. Really good poses from both of them in the back, really good packages. I mean, you can't fix anything here, right? They both look really, really good. Their hair is perfect as far as the length, the color, the style. Their pose itself, they got the wide back with the delts on the outside, small, tiny waist. I mean, they're very, very, very good from the back, both of them, right? There's not a whole lot to change here. The only thing that would have helped Rihanna in this situation is if she had a little bit more glutes, and that would just be a muscle thing. But again, that comes down to the fact that Romina has had more time doing this sport. You know what I mean? So that's why she's got more glute, bottom line. So let's kind of go through these a little bit. So here's the full pose here. Oop, hitting the wrong thing. Sorry. So again, when you look at them this way, I mean, it's so tight, but the reason why I give Romina the edge is just because she does have a little bit more glute than Rihanna does, right? A little bit more glute. Again, the hamstring drops down just a little bit further. So it's just a little bit better of a physique. Overall, genetically, it's just a little bit better of a physique. But as far as how they were dialed in and how they came in for the show, I think they both came in on point. I think this was their best, Let's get them so that we can get them turned around. They're going to do a little walk. Go through all the comparison shots here. Just get them to the front. Okay. So when you look at the front pose, where I see Rihanna beating Romina here is just a little bit in the genetics. So like I was just talking about with Romina from the back has the better genetics. Rihanna from the front has the better genetics, right? So when we're looking at the waistline to the glute ratio here, like this front profile on her glute is amazing, right? It's better than Romina. It's better. She's got a better pop right here on the top in that glute profile. I would also say that Rihanna's shoulders are a little bit better. Romina has great shoulders, don't get me wrong, but they can tend to be a little bit too wide. And as you can see, she's got a little bit of graininess in there that Rihanna doesn't have. Now, again, I'm not saying that Romina's grainy. I'm just saying she's got a little bit more density there than Rihanna does, which this to me is just a little bit prettier, right? This is just a little bit prettier of a shape than Romina has here. And then you look at the waistline and they're both pretty tight. Romina has a little bit of distension here, which I've always seen on Romina. She tends to be a little bit watery through that waistline sometimes. And she's got a little bit of it here. Not a lot, but it's just a little bit. Okay. So to me, when I look at these two front poses, while they're really, really good, I have Rihanna edging out Romina in the front pose. So it's a question of, okay, which one is going to win? Is the back pose going to win, or is the front pose going to win? And in bikini, we know it's all about the glutes. So I pretty much assumed that Romina was going to take the win here, but I would have been okay with it going either way. I would have been okay with it going either way. I think this is one of Romina's best packages that she's done. I do think the Olympia was a little bit better. I think the Olympia was just a little bit better than this one. This for Rihanna was by far her best package, by far her best package. So I think it's just a matter of time before Rihanna wins the show. As long as she keeps coming in just like this. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to change. Maybe pump the shoulders a little bit more, maybe. But there's not a whole lot to change here. I've always felt like Rihanna has a really superior shape over a lot of people. And now she's got the muscle to fill it out. So I could stand to see her add a little bit more size on her glutes still, but that's splitting hairs, right? A little bit more size on the glutes, a little bit more size in the shoulders. And maybe that could just be a matter of filling them out a little bit more, pumping them a little bit more, and that might pop them a little bit more too. This was Rihanna's first show back in 2 years. I mean, she did phenomenal, right? Standing up next to a top 10 Olympian and giving a solid argument for a win here, right? So both of these women should be very, very happy with what they put on the stage. I think that this is top tier right here. This is top tier with bikini, bottom line, right? This is what you're going to get. This is what we're looking for bikini. Neither one of them was too hard. They were both full. They're both round. They're both muscular. They're both pretty as far as their overall look, hair, makeup, suit, everything pretty. Posing was pretty. You know, they were both top tier when it comes to what they put on stage. So again, I think this was a phenomenal top two. And I don't think there's a whole lot that either one of them could have done better. Like there's little teeny tiny things that I just mentioned, like a little bit more size on the glutes and shoulders for Rihanna, a little bit tighter in the waistline, and maybe a little bit more pop on the shoulder. Like I said, for Romina, it's got a little graininess in the shoulder, so maybe a little more pop on the shoulder, a little bit more glute profile from the front with Romina. But these are teeny tiny little things, right? I do think that they were both very, very on point. So I just wanted to go through that because, again, we see them here in these comparison shots together. And I think it's pretty evident, all these details I'm mentioning, right? Really good top two. So let's go and pull up the top five. So fifth place was Kim Bonilla. Kimberly? Is it Kim? Kimber. That's why I'm like, when I see Kimberly, I'm like, that's not right. It's Kimber. So Kimber did move up. So Kimber was sixth in the last show that she was in. Now she's fifth. So again, going back to, she got a little bit more pop into her physique, I feel like, at this particular show than I've seen on her in the past. I do like the red suit on her. Preference as far as red versus blue, I think either one of them works. I think this red one fits her a little bit better. Her pose is a little bit wonky. However, I understand why she's doing it. She's very long through the torso. So what I always look at when we're looking at poses is I'm looking for a sharp V that creates that S curve. And I'm also looking for the glutes to be in line with the shoulders. So the way that she's pushing right here, her glute profile is coming out a little bit further than her shoulder. But I also understand why she's doing it, to kind of shorten her waistline down a little bit. Because if you don't do that, she's going to look very, very long and very, very thin through that waistline. Let's go back a couple of pictures and see if she's in any other position. See, when she's here and her eyes are closed in this particular position, when she's here, she's a little bit more straight up and down. I'm going to pull up some comparison shots too once we go through the top five, and we'll look at those a little bit better, because one thing I noticed on the individual shots is we don't have a full length front pose. So it's really hard to kind of critique that front pose if we don't have a full length shot of it. But what I'm looking for is that outside of part of that shoulder. If you draw a straight line down, it should hit the outside part of the glute. So she's just a little bit off, just a touch. So maybe twist the glute around a little bit more frontwards, get a little bit more twist in there. That might help pop the upper glute a little bit more too. Keep the twist in the waistline, but pull that glute around front a little bit more. That might do it. Yeah, we don't have oops, I hit the wrong thing. Hold on. We don't have a full front pose from her. So let's see if we can get to a back pose. But see, when she stands here in her transition pose, you can see just how long her torso is, right? So in order to kind of combat that, you do have to pose it a little bit differently. Okay, so here's a full back pose. I'd like to see more tilt in her lower back. I think she's pretty close here. I think she's pretty close. But if we get a little bit more tilt, and maybe it's there in the next picture. Let's see. Yeah, it's there in the next picture. So she just wasn't fully posed. If you take a look here, you can see like what I want you to watch when I flip to the next page for the next photo. Watch her upper glute. Watch her upper glute right here. Okay. When we get into the next photo, see how her upper glute pops right there. Okay. I didn't want to use this photo because it's not a full back shot, but you can see, do you guys comment there? Tell me, can you see the difference where her upper glute pops here and you see a little bit more pop versus when she's not fully posed and not fully tilted right here? Tell me if you can see the difference. Because the bottom line is, guys, this is why I harp on you guys about posing all the time. Yep, everybody's saying yes. That's good. This is why I harp on you guys about posing all the time and about that lower back flexibility and making sure you can push into your poses, because it makes a difference. See how she just looks flat here? She looks like she doesn't have that upper outer glute. She doesn't have that pop that we're looking for. It's just kind of meh right here until you go to that next slide. And that next slide, all of a sudden you see everything just round out and that 3D muscle really pop and everything is right where it should be, right? That's that lower back tilt. So when I harp on you guys about this in your posing, this is why right here. This is why. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, let me see if we have any poses like she walks to the back or anything like that. I don't know. We don't have a full pose. No, not a full pose in that back pose. That's standing straight up. So I know she's a tall girl. I think she's like 5'9", 5'10", something like that. So this is pretty good for her as far as her glute size and things like that. I would say she's probably right where she needs to be, is that as far as that's concerned. So just pretend she's tilted all the way here. What I would say is maybe try to get some more upper back and delts on the outside, just so that her lower back looks smaller. When you're tall, you can fill out till no end and still look thin, right? So she can always stand to put a little bit more glute size on. She can always stand to put a little bit more shoulder size on. And worst case scenario, if you have too much size, you just pose it down versus posing it up, right? So I think if she was to take and add a little bit more width up here, that would help make this look smaller. And then maybe just a little bit more of that 3D pop in the glutes here to balance with the shoulder too when she gets it up there. Overall, this is a really good shape though. You know, especially with her being as tall as she is. It's a good shape. Now also notice, guys, I want you to pay attention to this. You see the coverage on her bikini? She does not have a thong on. This is some extra coverage right here. I get girls that come to me all the time saying they want a teeny tiny little cut. Guys, teeny tiny is cool and all, but sometimes it is not flattering. You got to know what is going to flatter your glutes. A lot of times girls wear suits that are way too small. And when you do, it cuts off the roundness of your glutes. It actually makes your glutes look more shallow. I had a girl send in photos just this week and asked me if I could critique her suit cut. And that's exactly what I saw, because her suit cut was way too small. Her suit cut was way too small, and it actually made her glutes look like she didn't have any roundness. She looked like she had no roundness. So having a little extra fabric on your suit is sometimes a good thing. It's sometimes a good thing. Okay. Sometimes having that teeny tiny little cut is not the right move for you. Okay. In this scenario, I think this works. You know, there's been a lot of times where I've said on these live feeds, that suit is too small. You know, and you start seeing hip bones, you start seeing pelvic bones, you start seeing bone. You don't want to see bone, right? Okay, so just keep that in mind. Smaller is not always better. Okay, so let's move on to, that was Kimber. Janine. So Janine, if I'm not mistaken, Janine actually won the 40 and over. She did. Janine is in her 40s. Okay, so Janine is in her 40s and took what, fourth here? That's pretty phenomenal, right? This is a beautiful look, by the way, as far as the tan, the hair, the makeup, the suit color, really, really complimentary on her skin tone. So again, we don't have a full front pose here. This is why at the end of this, I'm going to pull up these comparison shots so you can see full poses next to each other. Now I don't know, but I'm guessing that she probably has had children. I'm guessing. And the reason why I say that is because of her skin through her midsection. Sometimes that ends up looking a little bit more grainy because you start pulling that in and it starts crinkling up a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that she has crinkly skin. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying you can kind of tell the skin was stretched out at one point. Okay. So this is why a lot of women, when they get up into the older age ranges, it's harder to compare with girls that are in their 20s, because when you get into your 40s, most women, not me, but most women have had children and have had things happen to their bodies that you don't have when you're 22. You know what I mean? In general, I'm talking in general. Okay. So that's why a lot of times when you start looking at this stuff, a lot of times master's age women don't look quite the same as a 22-year-old. And there is nothing wrong with that. Okay. I want to make this very impactful. There's nothing wrong with that. Your body went through creating another human, right? So that is something to be proud of. Okay. Now, again, I don't know if this woman has had children or not. I could be completely speaking out of turn here, but I just wanted to kind of go down this road and talk about this, because it's something that if you are a woman that you're in your 40s or in your 50s or something like that, you should be proud of the physique that you're putting on stage and all of the things that you've gone through in your life to put that on stage. She has 3 daughters. Okay. See? All right, there we go. She has 3 daughters, so I'm not speaking out of turn. So you should be proud of the physique that you're putting on stage through all of that. When you're in your 40s, you've gone through a whole hell of a lot more in your life than somebody in their 20s. Okay, so it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's something to be proud of. Okay, so I just want to make that really clear. So a lot of times I tend to have a little bit more respect for women in the master's age, right? Hashtag goals, right? I have respect for women in the master's age group more so than young girls. And I'm not saying this to be mean to young girls either, because you'll get to be in your 40s at one point, but I'm just saying you've been through a whole hell of a lot more. So you should really see this as something to be very, very proud of, right? Now, on top of that, she looks phenomenal regardless. And she just took 4th place in the open, which is phenomenal regardless. Okay. So, I just want to say all of those things as kind of an encouraging thing, right? I think it's amazing that these women are able to do this, right? So let's click through a little bit. And in a lot of cases, I think that women in their 40s, even masters is 35 and over. So everyone at 35 and up, a lot of times, and I hate to say it, but they look better than the young girls because they take better care of themselves at that point in their lives. Just saying. So she looks phenomenal, right? So going back to her overall shape, I mean, she's got a great shape here, right? Now, as we get a little bit closer in on this, her tan is a little bit green. Okay, so she's got a little bit of a tint of green in this tan. So I don't know what happened here with the pH of her skin tone, but she needs to work on maybe the skin prep going into the show, just so that we don't have that kind of greenish tinge. It could have been something with her skin prep. But fullness, roundness is there. Again, when we're talking about her roundness, like this is really nice and full and round in her glutes, in her quads, in her shoulders, everything. She's got some really nice round fullness to her muscle, which comes with muscle maturity as well. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can get to a back shot. And again, I love this color on her as far as the suit color is concerned. The hair look is beautiful too. Now, from the back, she could fill out a little bit more. Okay. Conditioning is great. Okay. Conditioning is great. But I could see a little bit more pop coming through in here. Just a little bit. Just a touch. Right. Yeah, the skin doesn't tighten up as easily. That's right. You lose collagen. It's all part of the aging process, right? Which is part of what I want to talk about when we go into this skincare stuff on Thursday. So that's part of what I want to talk about. Because again, I'm in my 40s. So as we get older, we can't hang in these streets as late at night. More sleep. Yeah, I know, right? Not for everyone, just saying. There you go. I love it, Jennifer. Absolutely. Absolutely. So she could stand to just be a little bit fuller through here, just so we don't have quite the deep cut right here, but that's just splitting hairs. I mean, really, she's got some nice full roundness in these glutes. And it could just be something she could fix through posing too. I could just see a little bit less of that cut, just a little bit, not much. And maybe pull the hair down just a touch here, just so that we can see the outside of the shoulder. We're losing the shoulder a little. But y'all talk about, we'll just fall asleep in the club. I just went out to a club like last week and I was like, all right, oh, it's already 3 a.m. Okay. I'm still dancing, but I'm an anomaly and I definitely paid for it because I needed to like refix my entire sleep schedule for like 3 days. So anyway, so overall, I don't think there's a whole lot that she needs to change or fix here. I think she looks really, really good. I'd like to see the tan color change a little bit. And I'd like to see the hair come down just a touch in that back pose so we can see her shoulders. Maybe just a touch fuller in the glutes, just so we get rid of that really hard line through her hamstrings. But I mean, I'm really, again, on each of these girls this week, I'm kind of really splitting hairs because they brought really phenomenal packages. So I think she's nice and full. Like one of the things that, like I said, with the fullness in the glutes, you can kind of see it here. We talk about the smile line all the time. We don't want to see a smile line. So again, this could be just a matter of her making sure to tilt her pelvis up a little bit more when she walks. We don't want to see this right here. I tell you guys this all the time with walking. This is what we don't want to see. Okay. So this, again, this could be a fullness in the glutes kind of thing, or this could be a posing kind of thing too. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. That could be fixed through posing. Let's see if we can get her around. Let's see if we have any kind of front shots on here. We didn't have a fully posed front shot. So I'm going to see if that's a full length. See if we have one by chance by just clicking through here. Oh, yep. Kind of. So yeah. So I think, in general, I think this is a really good package for her. Again, from the front pose, you can see we need to get rid of some of this hair a little bit. So we're not covering those shoulders up. And the waistline is just a little bit distension, and not distension. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's the skin that we just talked about. So that's more about just really refining that a little bit. But this is nice and full. Again, there's very minimal. I'm picking out little teeny tiny things here, guys. Little teeny tiny things. Overall, this is a really beautiful look. So she could probably stand to get a little bit wider in her back. Just like I talked about with Kimber. A little bit wider in the back would help to kind of create more of an S frame from the front and from the back for her. So, but really good job. Not seeing the close-up shots. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I was sharing the wrong screen. That's why. Sorry, guys. I was sharing the wrong screen. I'm sharing the main screen. I thought I was sharing her pictures. Hang on. I'll fix it. Got it, guys. I got it. I was sharing the wrong screen. Hang on a second. I was clicking through. So let me show you what I was talking about with the squishing the glutes, with the walk to the back. Let me see. This is it. No, I was just sharing the wrong screen. That's all. I thought I clicked over and I hadn't. So this is the squishing the glutes I was talking about with the walk to the back. I was talking about where she could push back into this pose a little bit more, or fill out the glutes. And like I said, we're getting a little bit more, too much shoulder or too much hair on the shoulder. And I'll show you that when we get around to the front pose. So see, she's got that hair covering up her shoulders here. And when she gets into the front pose, we'll do the same thing. So here she is in that full front pose. So this is what I was talking about. with the hair kind of covering her shoulders too much. She just needs to calm the hair down a little bit on that front shoulder. And this is what I was talking about with giving her a little bit more width in the back. A little bit more width in the back would help with her overall shape. So yeah, I was looking at the right screen, but I didn't realize I was sharing the thumbnail screen. I thought I was sharing the main screen, and I wasn't. I was sharing the thumbnail screen. So, yep. So there we go. And you can see what I'm talking about. Somebody should have said that when I first started talking about her. Sorry, guys. I didn't even realize. I was just sitting here clicking along. But yeah, so this is what I was talking about with the abs, and what we're talking about with pulling that ab in a little bit. The width in that. I think her quad sweep is fine because she has enough balance from top to bottom. I don't think this is too much quad sweep at all because she's balanced. Again, balance, 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 balance. If she has a little bit more quad here, she's got to have a little bit more shoulder, which she does, but you just can't see it with the hair right here. So I think her quads are fine. Yeah, nobody said anything. I'm just sitting here clicking along. Whatever, no big deal. Like if somebody tells me, I'll fix it. That's so sarcastic. I know. I was like, I'm sitting here talking about it for the last 5 minutes, and I'm not clicking. You guys aren't seeing the right screen. That's too funny. Well, we got it. We got it figured out. All right. So let's see if there's anything else to point out here. I don't think so. I think we're good. Oh, we were going to talk. I wanted to show you her hamstrings too, because that is one thing I mentioned. Here we go. Let me share this. So you can see here, she's a little bit, what I was talking about with the back, the fullness. She could be a touch fuller, just we aren't quite so hard through this hamstring. All in here. It's a little bit hard through here. Not by much though. Again, I'm splitting hairs. And this is also where you can see she could stand to have a little bit more width in the back and get that hair to come down a little bit so we see her shoulders a little bit more. So that's essentially what I said with the pictures. now you guys see all of it. My bad. All right. Let's move on. So next we've got Jessica. So Jessica just competed and was like, she's fifth? I think she was fifth in her last show. She switched her suit, which I highly, highly agree with. I think that this is a much better color on her. The other one was like a lighter green. This blue is way better. Definitely pops off her a whole lot better. I didn't even realize it was the same girl, to be honest, because the suit was so different. And she came in tighter too. She came in tighter. So I don't know if you remember me talking about her last time, but I said she needed to come in just a touch tighter because she looked a little bit thick in comparison to the other girls on that stage. She's definitely tighter here. Tan is a little bit darker. Color of the suit is much better. Her overall look just completely morphed. I think her hair is even darker. She looks a lot better here. Lot better. I think she's fully posed here. Yeah. So the one thing I would say is that this arm situation, she just needs to learn to relax that a little bit because I don't feel like we got a good shot. Like this is almost a teacup position. And if she just let this arm come down just a little, that would help her shoulder round out and it would make her look better through that ratio there. Because again, she's nice and full. This is a beautiful glute pop right here. Beautiful V into her waist. This is a really, really strong front pose, except for this arm. So I just like to see this arm come down just a touch. And I think that would make a big difference right there. But this overall look is like 10 times better than what she had the last show. Let's move her to the back. And it showed in her placing too. Her placing went up. Okay, so from the back, nice and tight, but could be fuller in the glutes, right? We lost a little bit of fullness through this glute area, so you just need to pop this out just a little bit more. I feel like she's squatting a little in her back pose, so maybe pull up the knees a little. But she could be not fully posed here too, like we talked about with Kimber, because you can see her hand is not quite there. So I think she's in the middle of transitioning into this pose. And then we go into here. Now she's fully posed, but you can still see with her fully posed, she still needs some fullness in the glutes. Her conditioning is right there. Conditioning is right on. But she just needs to pop it. You get that 3D pop a little bit more, just a little bit more. Then she'd be right there. Cut the hair just a touch, just enough on that hair so that we can see your lower back. This is better because we can see the outside part of her lower back, so that's okay. But I still want this to go away so I can see a little bit of skin right there, right? And this could also be a situation where I think she could pull her suit down like a half an inch and cover this. Like I was talking about with Kimber, how she had a little bit more coverage right here. I could see having a little bit more coverage right here, just pulling the suit bottom down just a little bit. And we wouldn't see this problem right here where we're seeing a little bit of bone. This is what I was talking about earlier. We're seeing a little bit of bone right there. And that is making her glutes look a little bit flat. They're making her glutes look a little bit flat, where she could fix that just by pulling the suit down a little. Yeah, just pull the suit down just a half an inch. If she brought that suit down just a half an inch, it would look so much better. She still could stand to fill out a little. Just a little. Let's see. I love these really like purple and pink backgrounds, blues and stuff. They just make the girls look so pretty. Like the girl focused theme here. Let's see if we got any more. Yeah, she just needs to relax that front arm just a little. Like that. There you go. Right there. Much better. See the difference? This is that relaxed arm. Much, much better. Much, much better right there. Really good. Really, really good. The only place she's lacking is just a little bit of fullness in the glutes. That's it. Looks really good. Much better than her last showing. All right, so now we're up to Rihanna. So this was her first show back in like over a year. And I think she nailed it. We already talked about her a little bit with Romina, so I'm not going to go too much more into this, except to say that like this is a phenomenal shape, top to bottom. Again, I think she could pump the shoulders just a touch. Glute profile from the front looks amazing. Looks really, really good. So I wouldn't change any of that from the front. I would just probably try to pump the shoulder a little bit, just a little. Conditioning is right on. She's full. She's round. She's lean enough. All of that. Big, beautiful smile. Her posing was really classy and simple. You know, I don't know if you guys saw her posing routine at all, but it was simple. And that's better, you guys. Not trying to do anything crazy that's going to screw you up, basically. I thought this was a really, really, especially for not being on stage for over a year, this was a phenomenal package to come back with. I wouldn't change a whole lot from the front other than just try to get that fullness in the shoulder just a little bit more, just so that it matches the glutes. And that's it. That's all I would change. Let's get to a back pose. And again, I think overall, this was her dialing in really, really well from the back. I wouldn't change a whole lot here other than, I mean, she just stood next to Romina, who Romina has the longer hamstring drops, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that, right? She could probably add a little bit more size onto the glutes up on the top, just a touch. But I could also see where if she took her suit and pulled it down just a little bit, I think it might round this out just a little bit. Right here is where she gets a little flat, just right here. So just pull that suit down just a little on that suit, that V, and then she would be good. And she'd be good to go, right? So that's really the only thing I would change back here. I think the pose itself is right where it needs to be. I don't think I would change anything else, right? Hair is good, right where it's sitting. Wouldn't change it. Looks nice and healthy. Wouldn't change it. You know, I wouldn't change anything else. Just try pulling that suit bottom down maybe 1/4 of an inch. That's it. And let's take a look at Romina. So your winner here. So here's her front pose. So again, Romina is always going to be very, very strong. She's going to be a strong competitor regardless. And where I tend to look for flaws with her is she tends to be a little bit blown out in the waistline a little. And she has a little bit here. She didn't have this at the Olympia. It's just a touch. And I think this is probably due to her trying to fill out a little. And I understand why she needs to do that. Because again, we talk about when we're looking at her shoulders, she just has muscle maturity, right? She's got muscle maturity. So when you got muscle maturity, you got to fill it out. You got to fill that muscle out. So, I mean, she's doing the right thing here. Obviously, she won the show. I think her Olympia package was just a touch better than what we're seeing right here. But again, it's just splitting hairs. And I think it just comes down to the midsection more than anything else. And as I've said before, with Romina, it's really, really hard to beat her from the back. It's really hard to beat her from the back. She's got a phenomenal look from the back. Let's take a look at her back shot. And if she comes in, if she dials in correctly, which she did for this show, I mean, it's hard to beat her. It's really hard. And from the back, I mean, you see the 3D pop. You see that glistening there? That's the 3D pop. She's got the tie in, but it's not too tight. You know, her hamstrings are there, but they're not like pow in your face, right? Her shoulders are wide. She does have a little bit of an imbalance in the shoulders, but it's very slight, you know. Hair is good. Sometimes her hair color tends to be a little bit off, like she's a little bit too light, or she's got, you know, blonde streaks in it that make it look a little too light. This is much better with this chocolate brown look. Blue suit is perfect. I wouldn't change anything about that. You know, in general, her back pose is right on. This is a very hard back pose to beat. It's just a very hard back pose to beat. Where she can improve is in the waistline on the front. That's it. Waistline from the front. That's the only thing I'd like to see improve on her. And like I said, I think Olympia was a touch better, but still, this was a very, very good package. So that was your top 5. Any questions? Anything that I went over? While I'm seeing if you guys got questions, I'll pull the comparison shots up so you can see the comparison shots. Let's do this, and I'll just kind of flip through them. Go ahead and ask me questions you might have. But I think this was really a very competitive lineup. The top 5 were very, very competitive. Very, very competitive. And again, I'm only doing top 5s. Otherwise, we'd be here all night. But I'll just kind of click through these for the next minute or so. If you guys have any questions or wanted to make any comments or anything like that about the actual placings and competitors themselves. So you can see here, nice full round glutes. You can see the pop on Rihanna and Romina is just better than everybody else on stage. You know, that's where we get that top 2 is in that pop of the glutes. It's in that pop of the glutes. Makes a huge difference. It's that 3D. Flip it through this first call out here. Yep, it was definitely a fabulous lineup. I think Kimber could have been a little bit darker on her tan when you look at this. Is it Jessica Machado? I think her tan is perfect. I think she's got the best tan on stage right here. You can see where she's got a little bit of that greenish tint here that I was talking about. Kimber can be a little bit darker. That's out of the first call out. Romina is pretty good. So is Rihanna as far as their tans. I really wouldn't mess with those tans. But I would say of the girls here on the stage, I would say that Jessica Machado has the best tan. But that kind of gives you that layout. But you can see here, like I was saying, these girls are all looking phenomenal. It's very, very hard to pick them apart at this point. Because again, they're coming on stage ready to win. They're coming on stage ready to take a title because you can't get points this year. So you can't just skate your way through this year. You can't just do 1,000 shows and qualify this year. You have to win one. So you have to be able to go up against a Romina and stand on your own, right? So with that, that's our show for this week. What do we have going on this week? I don't even know. I haven't even looked at the lists or anything like that. I don't even know what shows are going on this weekend. Pittsburgh is next weekend, and then New York. We will be at both. If you need hair and makeup, you know where to find me. Suitsymposium.com is where you want to go for our suit webinar right here. The popping glutes on Romina, I know, right? I'll put up the free webinar is right here for the QR code. That's suitsymposium.com right here. If you need anything else from us, that's SeansCoutureCuties.com. Okay. You can get to the webinar for the suits through SeansCoutureCuties.com as well. Suit Symposium just takes you directly there. SeansCoutureCuties.com, though, you can go there and you can do posing, you can do hair and makeup, you can do your suits, you can do whatever. You can get to all of our podcasts. So we've got this, we've got Spotify. So Spotify is our hub for when we're doing live shows. So also I take my videos from here, put them on Spotify. And what I've been finding is that our Thursday wrap up, our Thursday lives that we're doing, the ones that we're doing when we're talking about prep and posing and off season, all that stuff, those are getting a lot of traction over on Spotify. So I'm going to make Spotify kind of the hub for our live show coverage. And then also for when we do these Thursday program update days, because those tend to be getting a lot more coverage or more views on Spotify. So with that, we're going to do that. If you need hair and makeup, I'm at the shows coming up. And then Thursday, if you need a suit, get on my webinar, right? With that, I hope you guys have had a great night. Tomorrow night, I will look at the pro lists. So the next SWS will be the last Sunday in May, which is, I don't know what the date is. 28th. Yes, it's 28th. I just haven't opened it up on my calendar yet, but yes, the 28th. We have one in May because I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. So, and I have another commitment on the 7th. So it'll be the 28th. I will open that up on my calendar as soon as I get off live, so you guys can go start signing up for that one. Is that Labor Day weekend? Yeah. So that's the only one we got. It's the only one we got for this week or this month. I mean, so. All right. With that, you guys, I hope you guys have had a fantastic day. Gotten a lot of work done. All those things. Oh, Labor Day. Right. When you said Labor Day, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, whatever. I was even thinking Memorial Day. Yes, Memorial Day. It's Memorial Day weekend. Yep. So, but anyway, so if there's people in town for the holiday, come on over. Come on over, right? I will see you guys back here tomorrow night. I haven't even looked to see what the pro schedule is this weekend. So we'll have a live feed regardless of what the lists are and stuff like that coming out. So for some reason I'm thinking like maybe there's not one because I don't know, but I haven't even looked. I know there's no such thing as holidays when you run your own business. Just so you know, there's no such thing as holidays when you run your own business. Doesn't matter. I still have to show up. So like I said, suitsymposium.com for the free webinar. SeansCoutureCuties.com for anything else you need, or click the link in my bio on Instagram too. That works. All right, you guys. Hope you have a great night tonight. I'm going to log off of Instagram first, and then we'll log off of YouTube and Facebook. Good night.